The verse of the day is Colossians 2:1-2, and it says, I want them to be encouraged and knit together by strong ties of love. I want them to have complete confidence that they understand God's mysterious plan, which is Christ himself. In him lie hidden all the treasures of wisdom and knowledge. So to give a little recap on the context, Paul is talking to the people in Colossae, the church there, because there were false ideas about who Jesus is flowing around in the church. And so this is why all week we've been talking about who Jesus is and what it meant when he came to earth and what it means for us today. And today's verses are highlighting Paul's heart for the church and how the goal is unity in the church between everyone. And if you think about it, if every individual person in the church sought out relationship with Jesus, then every single person would be handling their own junk and their own selfish tendencies with Jesus, and Jesus would be working on all of our hearts individually, which helps us love people better because we're accepting love, so we're going to be loving ourselves better, and how you love your neighbor is how you love yourself. So if you go to the person of love to heal your heart, you're going to have more love to give your neighbor, which brings more unity in the church. So if you think about it, in order to get unity in the church, we all have to handle our own responsibility in running to God with our stuff. And the more we gain confidence in our relationship with Jesus, the more our knowledge grows, the more our wisdom grows, and the more the love we have to give grows, which will effortlessly connect the church together because we all have the same spirit working in us. So the same spirit's goal is unity, not only individually between me and God and you and God, but between all of his people, because we're all functioning in the same spirit. We all have the same spirit, the same Holy Spirit, helping us to grow, again, individually and as a unit. So let's go through it. Verse 2 says, I want them to be encouraged and knit together by strong ties of love. The only way that the church can be knit together by strong ties of love is if individually we all are working on our own tie of love within our heart, our own relationship with Jesus personally. Because again, that helps us deal with our own stuff. That helps us stay in alignment with God's character. That helps us deal with resentment and bitterness and jealousy and envy and judgment when it creeps in, so that we can handle it, deal with it, heal from it. And then once we get strong personally, our wisdom and knowledge of God grows, right? Because God is now trusting us with his heart because he's seeing that we're starting to understand it. And the more we grow in that way with God, and the more our tie with God, the person of love, grows, the more the ties in the church will grow. That's just how it works. This perspective too, when you go to God and you focus on your individual relationship with him first, it helps you stay out of judgment and all of the icky stuff that can creep into relationships, because you're so clear about your need for God personally and what God's doing in your life personally, that it helps you love your neighbor better. It helps you accept anyone that walks into the church, because you understand that people that walk into the church aren't supposed to be healed. We walk into the church because we're broken people. Broken people need a doctor, not healthy people. It's not only healthy people who belong in the church. The broken people belong the most in the church, because those are the people that need God the most. And we're all broken. So any person is welcome in the church, because God can create a tie of love with every person, no matter what we've been through or what we've experienced. And if we had that perspective of anyone is welcome, no matter where their life is at, we would give so much more unconditional love, which is the love God gives us when we act crazy and we mess up. So that's the same love we're supposed to give our neighbor. The next sentence says, I want them to have complete confidence that they understand God's mysterious plan, which is Christ himself. That's basically saying I want them to have confidence in their relationship with God. I want them to have confidence in this mysterious thing that is Jesus, that you and I are now getting to understand the more we walk with him. And so your understanding of Jesus, when you first accept him into your heart, is probably going to be small compared to where you can grow it in 10 years. But that doesn't change God's love for you. God's love for you when it's small is the same as 10 years later. But the difference is, because you keep pursuing him and you keep creating space for him and you keep allowing his love to change your heart, the more you have space to see and hear and understand who God is. So your understanding of the mysteries of God are going to expand. The revelation God gives you is going to expand. The way you understand and interpret the Bible is going to expand, because God only gives you little by little, because he knows too much information is overwhelming. We can't understand everything all at once. We have to go on this journey of learning little by little. You don't tell a kindergartner to go to college because they haven't gone through K through 8th grade. It takes every year, every grade to prepare for the next, to get to college and to graduate. And when it comes to growing with God, you have to go through each grade and certain lessons to grasp who he is, to understand how real he is, to see that he does show up for you, to understand that his character is who he says he is, because you're going to start to see that evidence flow from your life. And you might be like, well, understanding all of it is overwhelming. I don't know where to start or what to do. The good news is all you need to do is start with Jesus. It says, understanding God's mysterious plan, which is Christ himself. To put it really plainly, in order to understand God's mysterious plan, all you have to do is create a little bit of space, faith of a mustard seed, and God can grow that into something incredible. God can grow that into you having tons of wisdom and tons of knowledge and tons of understanding about who he is. All it takes is just making it simple, keeping your eyes on Jesus and starting, learning about who he is, creating space for him to affect your heart and giving him an opportunity to show up. Verse 3 says, in him lie hidden all the treasures of wisdom and knowledge. In Jesus is all truth. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. And something about treasure is usually you want to hide it, right? Because you don't want it to be taken from you. You want to protect it. You want to keep it safe. You put it in a safe, like real treasure. And when it comes to your relationship with God, it has to be in the hidden secret place. It has to be one-on-one, behind closed doors, at home, daily, for you to understand the treasures of who he is, the wisdom and knowledge of who he is. And you have to nurture the relationship and protect it. And it's through being obedient that you do protect that knowledge. Because once God gives you new wisdom and knowledge, you now have a responsibility to walk it out. And it's not to control you, it's really to set you free and to help you become who you were always meant to be. So grow with God first, because that's how you're going to grow with anyone else in your life, because that's you being affected by unconditional love, which will be the love that you can give others. And understand that to grow with God and to learn more about him, you have to make space for him. And it's going to be a process, baby steps, and he's going to tell you and teach you everything you need to know, all in the right timing. Okay?